What's up, my Valyntpreneurs? Welcome back to Valynt Volumes. This is your host and CEO, Dan Spotsville.
And I'm Makayla Mitchell.
And if you're a first-time listener in this podcast, or I should say Valynt Volumes, we talk about everything business, life, digital marketing, but most importantly, how to kick ass in life. I like that phrase.
I do. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is an exciting week.
It is.
Yes. Do you want to know why?
Why?
We had a ton of people write into the hello at Valynt digital email.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to give us a little pat on the back because, today we were watching, how many people are actually watching this thing? Because, we really this year started to emphasize that. Yeah, we got, a couple thousand views on some of our episodes.
Yeah.
We never really talked about that, but I think we're using the right hashtags. Well, even without the hashtags and titles, because until our website just recently got updated, we didn't even have titles on our podcast. We put Valynt Volume 31 because we didn't want to be discovered yet.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy, but
that was intentional though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So even this weekend, I'm gonna go and fix some of these things because I personally want to do it. So I'm gonna put the descriptions and certain titles and use certain hashtags, but I changed one of the hashtags. Oh, this is a great thing for you listeners. If you have a podcast or when you post on YouTube, you can see immediate results of how many people watch your video and who watches your video because I put a title. There was no title for this particular volume. And I put a specific title, job description, and 15 hashtags. By the way, you can't put more than 15 hashtags on YouTube. Don't quote me on that, but you do your own research. But I think that's what the case is because if you use over 15 hashtags, it basically doesn't read any of the hashtags. But within an hour, we got 200 plus views on that particular episode. I'm like, holy You like how I did that?
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
Anyways, this is just a quick tip there.
No, I appreciate you sharing that because it reminded me too that for those, everyone's been able to watch the podcast on YouTube as of late. And we recently started the conversation with Emilio to actually have Valynt Volumes on Spotify and Apple Music or Apple Podcasts.
Do you know where this comes from?
What?
Will Ferrell's little GIF.
So for the audio listeners, because we're about to be streaming on audio platforms, he's dancing.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm ready to jump right into a couple of the questions that I found in the inbox, unless you had another topic.
No, well, I do want to kind of give our listeners a quick update on where we are, in Valynt Digital. We're still in growth phase. We're looking to bring on an additional 2 or 3 members. You and I super grateful for you working hard this past month and even this month. I think we had a strong January. We really worked our ass off. I think we worked only 2 days off last month, and some people are like, wait, you only took 2 days off? Yeah, we fucking only took 2 days off last month. Not because we had to work, it's because we wanted to work to get this thing going even faster, you know what I mean? So thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm just publicly thanking you.
Thank you. Now it's on record.
Yeah. We worked out of the 31 days, 29 days. And that has created such a momentum for us, at Valynt, from a client perspective, from streamlining process perspective, in a lot of different areas, and I think you see it firsthand, how much we grew, from January 2nd when we started working to today, which was today, February 2nd. Oh, 30 days.
Yeah.
Look at that. 30 days and we accomplished all that.
It's crazy.
In a 30-day span.
And on top of just all the things that we've been doing with Valynt, the hiring on top of it too, which is where I've definitely played a big
And getting
piece.
the office ready, we did it all.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear for those who are watching on YouTube, if you can leave comments below about your hiring process. Because right now we have found a lot more resumes that we feel are an actual better fit. So the question I'm interested to learn about is as entrepreneurs are growing their business, are they finding as they've dialed in and really realized what positions they're hiring for, they're more specific about it instead of just broad digital marketer, or we've recognized we need more copy, we need more someone that's an ad builder, maybe somebody who's more overall strategy. When you've defined that for yourself, are you finding better resumes, or did we just maybe get lucky and we have some killer resumes coming through? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm looking forward to some people responding to that part of what you just mentioned.
How's hiring for you in the early days?
Hiring is difficult. you can't say hit 'em. Like, you got to hire with intent. But I think the more your organization grows and you're placing people in the right place, you'll start to see what you need for the your business, or insert agency, digital agency, to go to the next level. Because I can tell you, like, when we hire, there's a couple things that we look at. One, we're not always looking for people with the exact skill sets. Obviously right now we have to have people with experience, but then also, this, we look for people with potential to grow with the organization. And that's a very important thing when we're looking for new team members. They may be lacking maybe one skill that we really want, but it's okay if they have two other skill sets that we're looking for out of the three, but then they have that growth mindset. So, like, and then are they a culture fit? Those are things that are very important for us when we're hiring and doing the hiring process. Look, for those of you that are building a business, I think you know this, but for those of you maybe that are entrepreneurs or maybe looking for new opportunities, the interview process starts from that first phone call. Because I think a lot of people think like, well, the interview starts when I get there. No, it actually starts how you respond, the email that you're sending back to, whether it's Mac or somebody else on our team, the energy that you bring to the conversation when we initially call you, because I'll let you touch on that, but like, what is your thoughts there?
I mean, I would say the interview process even starts before that. It's when you submit your application, because when you're submitting your application these days, like I've been using Indeed a lot to like go through the resumes, and depending on the job that we've posted, I mean, you're required to share your resume, right?
Right.
Cover letter is not required, but it's optional. And then there's some like filter questions that you can ask, how many years of experience do you have in copywriting social ads? And then you can have open-ended questions. You can have people take assessments. You can have people do video interviews, like one way to like, just instead of just looking at the paper resume, hey, answer this question for me. Because truth is, there's a lot of people looking for jobs right now. And I found that on paper, it could look really great, or it could be kind of questionable, but how do we vet them out without spending 10-15 minutes on that first initial call just to find out maybe it's not a good fit? So I really found value in that first video interview that just says, tell me your specific experience building an ad, or how you handled a scenario like with a client. And you get a little bit of personality right off the bat. Plus you can see if they're sitting there reading it off like a robot, or if they actually can pull some of the information just straight from their head.
I found that to be very valuable. Like when you shared with me, like, hey, look at these videos that people are submitting for the questions that you asked, like through the Indeed platform. I was like, man, like this is legit, because it does like truly help us save time on the vetting process. Because look, you can tell a lot through the video versus like, just looking at the resume. So like even like filtering people through, like, yes, this resume looks great. Okay, now the next step is let's ask them 3 questions and have them submit a video response, Yeah.
I mean, there was one video that came back, and I mean, her resume looked impressive enough to like, okay, I'm interested to learn more. And when she started to answer the question about, can you please tell me like a very specific scenario where you were building an ad start to finish in whatever platform you're familiar with, they started off by saying, that's going to be pretty hard because I'm not in front of my computer. Okay. Several things right there.
A couple of red flags.
You need high level. Can you remember, the thing that you're apparently years of an expert in? Second of all, this wasn't on the fly. You had time to go get your computer if you really felt like that would have set you up for better success.
Yeah. Like, it kind of gives us people's thinking processes and how they operate when they're put into like even such a small situation and a small task that they're given to get the opportunity at a particular business. In this scenario, it just happens to be ours, but it's interesting to see it.
I would definitely recommend doing that if you are a solopreneur or somebody trying to add value to the team, because you can make it so customizable and at least get some of that vetting process out. Not to say you shouldn't talk to somebody who didn't submit the video interview, but it's definitely helpful.
For sure. One other thing, I do want to give a shout out to my sister, the Pseudo baker. We had a client this past week, that had a great video shoot. And they, my sister made those like custom logo cookies. It looked really great. I think the client was very happy. And they had a great experience. So, shout out to my sister, Pseudo baker, for making that for us.
I thought that was such a good idea when we were in the all team meeting.
I think Bianca said it, right?
Nick said it first, and then Bianca like echoed it too. She's like, it was like they both had the thought at the same time. They were just on opposite side of the rooms. But for like what we realized is that day we had a client flying in from Italy to see us for a video shoot, while simultaneously we had somebody flying in that same day to be on the podcast.
Right.
And just adding that level of like customization to welcome to Dallas from literally across the world. Here's some cool cookies that are decorated. And
yeah.
I think Jagger said that whenever the client walked into the video shoot, they saw the cookies, immediately picked up all the ones with their logo on it, took them and stuffed them in their bag. Like, this is incredible. We're not even needing these.
Yeah. So. No, that's incredible. You know, I was happy to hear the feedback from the team yesterday. But again, you know, the cookies did look great. I took pictures with it too. So, yeah.
Do you think that'll be a standard going forward to try and customize a video shoot in specific ways?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a standard already. So we're just going to do it for every video shoot that we do for our clients going forward. Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Well, let's dive into one of the questions that came through the inbox at hello@valyntdigital.com. For starters, what is a good way to expand your business for those looking to grow?
That's a broad question, but there's a lot that I can touch on. You know, like, what's the best way to grow your business?
Yeah, I did. If this helps, I did get another question about multiple revenue streams in business. So if you want to tie those together, sure, them separately.
Yeah, let me just tackle, like, from a general perspective, like, hey, what's a good way to grow your business? Well, I'll start here. The way you grow your business is, one, doing what you said you're going to do for your customers. Because if you do exactly what you say you're going to provide, and then over deliver in a service-based business, you'll get a lot of referrals, and word of mouth tends to spread. You know, that's one way to do it. Same thing with the product, right? If the product is great, or it over delivers, or it does exactly what it's supposed to do at a great price, then people are going to naturally talk about it, share it with their friends and family. So that's one way to grow your business. Another way to grow your business is, you know, I've come across entrepreneurs that has kind of hit a ceiling. You know, no matter what industry they're in, they got it to the point where they could, through referrals and organically posting on social media and whatnot. So sure, that's great. But then if you got that down pat, the way to amplify what it is that you do is insert digital marketing, like paid advertising. You know, so like, imagine you're getting in front of, you know, 100 people a day through organic posting. Well, digital marketing, we can take that and put you in front of 1,000 people or 2,000 people per day. So it gives you that scalability in getting in front of the right people. But then with that comes like other headaches and stuff, like on the back end, because if you have a product, then you need to be able to manufacture more products. So it's a timing thing too. Right. But paid advertising is a second way. Another way to grow your business would be to increase, you know, and when I say grow, like, revenue ties to growth no matter what. So these things that I'm explaining is the way to grow your revenue, which eventually grows your team and all of that stuff. So the third way would be to increase your prices, right? If you're a service-based business. So like, we're a great example of that, because we started at $500 a month, you know. Well, I started solo, $300, $500 a month for all these different services. And then we went to $1,500, then to $2,500, $35, $45, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. I mean, you know the math.
I was like thinking, damn, Dan can count. It's great.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Yeah. So like, increase your prices. This is like a booby trap, though. You hear a lot of entrepreneurs like saying like, oh, I have like 5 different income sources. You know what I mean? Okay. That's another way to grow your business. But don't fall into the trap of like trying to create additional revenue streams for yourself when you don't have that main thing down packed yet. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And I'll give you a good example. Okay. Like, so for our agency, let's just say like you just started a digital marketing agency and you're doing paid advertising. And you could do that really well. So that's the service that you offer. But then to insert video production when you don't have any video production background, that is another way to increase your revenue stream. But if you don't know how to do that, it is going to cause a lot more headaches than it's going to cause, because it's going to take your focus away from the paid advertising part. So like, there's a right way to do that and attach video production. One, you can partner up with another video production company and there's kickbacks. There's a way to do that. Or two, like hire internally a video, you know, a person with you know, some level of like experience in running like a video production side of a agency or a company, right? So that's one way to do that. But I think my biggest thing, what I want to say here is that a lot of people try to extend out to other revenue streams without having their main thing like down packed to the T. We just so happen to start, like our agency, we always started with video production because I had competencies in paid advertising, email, text, automations, plus video production. So like we could do it all simultaneously because I just had experience in it, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I think you can make a really good example of a good example of multiple revenue streams once it's established, because I think we've talked about it. A car dealership who then has like a rental car that attached to it, plus like insurance attached to it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's expanding within your vertical, and I can explain that.
Okay.
So like, you know, the car dealership like analogy that you're using is pretty straightforward. So like if your main thing is to sell cars through your car dealership, right? Then naturally, like you want to grow within your vertical to create another revenue stream. And that would be to open up a body shop, right? So now you're selling cars, but then you're also servicing the cars that you're selling, right? So like you're doing the oil change. If they get a flat tire, you're changing the flat tire. If their brake pads go out, you know, you're inserting and, you know, putting in new brake pads, right? So that's another way to expand. And then from there, because now you also are selling the car and then now you're servicing the car, the other thing is you can insure the cars. So you open up an insurance company, you know, that puts the insurance on the cars that you're selling. And then maybe, you know, from there, you're expanding into renting cars. But you get the point, but you're expanding within your own vertical to where it makes sense. But you have this main thing that you sell. It's almost like attachments, because it's naturally a service that they need. If you buy a car, you have to have insurance. If you buy a car, at some point you're going to need it to be serviced, right? Whether it's an oil change or whatever. So those are ways you can expand. So it's no different from us right now. Like if you're running paid advertising as a core, you need content for that. So like you have to have a video production, you know, department, which we have. But then also for paid advertising, you need copy. So we do that. So you need graphics. But then when you start generating leads, you need automation. So we have a software, you know, that does that now. So it's no different. So like we grew our revenue by growing within the vertical and offering services that attaches to the main service that we initially are very strong in, which is the paid advertising part of it. You follow me?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's take a step in a different direction though.
Sure.
We've talked about adding different services or different things to generate more wealth for you.
Yeah.
What about taking away?
Yeah, I can give you a real life example. So like where I got my Denali truck from, they stopped selling trucks. Like this year, they only had like 2 left on the lot like a few weeks ago. And I was like surprised because I just wanted to see like what they had, right? But I'm making some assumptions here, but I think this is a good example still to use. And with some assumptions, let's say like selling trucks, because I know they sold trucks all across the United States. So like they were shipping trucks, and there's a lot involved in selling a truck, right? You need salespeople.
And they were doing like custom trucks, like
yeah, they were doing lifted
kits.
trucks,
Okay.
yeah. Like, you know, like Chevy Silverados or High Countries and Denali trucks, Toyota Tundras. I mean, those are trucks and they were all lifted. But all that said, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into selling a truck and running a truck dealership. And plus you have to lift the truck. So like you had a service department already. But I think you can still grow your business by removing things such as like selling the car, but focusing on just, you know, lifting trucks for the people that buy trucks from the people around you. I bet you that's a very lucrative business because they do it so well. They had hundreds of trucks lifted. And you had people that were buying trucks like down the street from them from a Ford dealership or a Chevy dealership or a GMC dealership. And if they want their truck lifted, where were they going? They were going to these guys. So they probably looked at their revenue sheet and said, hey, look, if we just focus on this, we can cut costs here, hire more people to do the lifting of the truck. And there's less hassle and headache of having to ship the trucks and do all of this stuff. And they're probably making more money. And then as an owner, I think you have one less thing to worry about. And this thing is already working and customers are happy. And you've done hundreds of these, probably thousands of trucks lifting them. You guys are experts at truck lifting and servicing those trucks. Like it would make sense to go that route. So like, to give you an example, like if we found out that, you know, let's say down the road, this is not going to happen, but hypothetically, like down the road, if we realize that, hey, because paid advertising takes like copy and graphics and videos and setting up the ads and monitoring it, you know, day after day, week after week. What if we one day realize like, hey, software is just the best way to go, or video production, because we do it so well. We make so much more money doing that, or so much more revenue. Let's just kind of transition over and let go of some of these services. Again, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's the way you can look at your business. That is another option, taking away the services that you offer and honing it down. I think a restaurant, Bar Rescue does it the best. Like, he'll take a menu of like 100 things on the menu, and then he'll strip it away to like 20% of what they were offering. But then now it's easier for the kitchen to put out all this food that much faster at a higher quality. You just have less options. Do you see what I'm saying?
That resonates with me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So.
It's like, you know, like you look at like Cane's, or like you look at Chick-fil-A, like they only offer you know, a restricted menu.
Yeah.
You know, and their business model is going to be from a, I don't know too much about the restaurant industry, but I promise you there's less hassle than going to an Applebee's and running food there with all the different menus that they have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point, because with the restaurant industry example, like whenever you get more specific about, you know, these 20 items are the ones that we're going to be providing rather than like 50, it's like okay, I'm going to give a very specific example. Like I worked in a restaurant that had a pretty big menu, but was really great burgers, wings, like typical bar food. But they also had stuff like roasted duck or quail legs on the menu that, like, when they were made correctly, they were awesome, but they were ordered maybe once a month, you know? And because they weren't ordered often, like you might have it sitting in the fridge for way too long, or you don't have a team that knows how to make it the best way. Like they're just not versed in it as well. They're not making it every single day, so it's not perfected. It's that, oh wait, let me double check how to do this one again. So that translates to like the services you're offering, whether it be fixing a car or digital marketing. If it's some random feature that everyone dabbles in but doesn't have enough experience to do fully, then like why even offer it?
Right.
Know?
So
just to have it.
So the reason we let go of building website is for everything that we just talked about. Because one, I wasn't an expert in building websites. So like from the get-go, when we did try to do websites for clients, we fucked it up. Like big time. Like I could tell you a $30,000 loss experience from trying to do websites for a client that we had no business trying to do websites. So like, although we had, you know, no wrongdoing of the team member that was working on the website build, one, I sold the job or the project, and I should have had more knowledge about the website and how to build it. But I relied on just the team member's expertise. Again, no fault of his own. Yeah. But like, I didn't make the right call there, because like then he got over his head, right, at a certain point, and we just weren't prepared. So like when I don't know things, right, especially when you're starting a business, there is a difference of like saying yes to something. And like, you know, like Richard Branson says, just say yes and figuring it out. Sure, that applies to like a lot of things, but then it also doesn't apply to a lot of things too, because like you can't take on and say you're going to do a website build at a high level and think that you're going to be able to accomplish that in like 60, 90 days, because it's impossible. Yeah. Like you're going to, like, unfortunately, you're going to fucking fail at that project, and it's going to be a huge learning experience for you. And we've had those like type of like failure moments within Valynt, and I should say like failures / like learning moments, and we've made decisions based on the experiences and some of the failures and learnings that we've had in the past. So yeah, we've taken away services, sure.
Okay, I like that. I'm ready to move to the next question.
Yeah, but there is one more thing I want to say. If you're like a small team or like a solopreneur, you should definitely want to have multiple streams of income. But I just want to emphasize, like, you shouldn't focus on this other thing and try to create multiple streams of income for the most part until you get that main thing down. You know, like for myself, like I have this agency that's running, and sure, like I do consulting here, you know, on the side. Like there's consulting clients that I'll take on every month. So I have another stream of income. I'll have like little investments here and there that I'll make. So I have another stream of income there. There's multiple things that I do, but I didn't even start focusing on that until like towards the end of like the middle of year 5. You see what I'm saying? All I'm trying to say with that is a lot of people try to like start something, and then like a year down the road, like try to create like other streams of income, like doing something totally different. And I don't think that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah. I want to try and add to that with like my own types of experience, but I don't necessarily have it just yet.
Yeah.
Only thing I can really add to that, it'd be like the passion projects that you and I have started to talk about, but it's completely unrelated from like, you know, Valynt Digital or one business that you're starting. You know, it's something totally different. So it's not like full force in two directions with like two different things. It's like, okay, we're going full force with Valynt and we're adding in this passion project that we can both work on. That just it's different, but
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it, because what you're trying to say too is like people underestimate the amount of energy and time it takes to get something off the ground the right way.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I think that's a true statement. So like even this project that we're gonna work on together and that we started to like ideate and all of that, and started to put like little things in place, it's gonna take a huge amount of our efforts to be able to knock that out. You know, it's not like most people think like, oh yeah, let me get a website up, get the product created, let me outsource everything. Like, you can't outsource everything. Like, this whole outsource culture that's out there right now, it's bullshit. Like, you can't outsource everything. You can't outsource everything to a VA. Although I think VAs have their parts, but if you truly want to build a business that is of value, that actually takes care of the clients that you're trying to serve, you can't outsource everything. Yeah. Well, and I'm done with my rant. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one.
Next question. Is it better to niche down or not to niche? What's the importance behind that?
Ooh, niche. Is it niche or niche?
I think it can be both, because like it's a very like niche topic, but like we're gonna
talk about the niche.
Like we like niche down. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Right, Emilio? Nod if you agree, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So repeat the question for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So why better to niche down or not to niche down?
Yeah. I think there's pros and cons to both. So I'll start with niching down. The pros to niching down, and I'm going to speak from like a service like type of business, and I'm going to speak from an agency, but I can translate this to a lot of different things. But from an agency perspective, we started off working with so many different clients, but then as I learned, you know, every niche has its nuances and things that you really have to you have to understand the niche that you're going into and the problems that you're solving for a particular niche to be able to craft and create the best marketing strategy for that particular business. So that being said, when you start to spread yourself thin and work with a dentist, then a chiropractor, then a restaurant, then a healthcare, then physician recruiting, then you do capital raise, and then you do e-commerce, you cannot have more than 8 clients. And even to service those 8 clients, you probably need a team of like 15. You see what I'm saying? Because every niche requires different types of ads and different type of copy and different type of graphics. So from an agency standpoint, it's better to niche down into one niche because you can rinse and repeat some of the stuff, right? So for example, you can, if you niche down into, let's say, dental offices, and you figure it out for one dental office here in like DFW, right, or Dallas, then you can take that learning and then apply it to another city, a dental office in Frisco. Then you can take that learning and then apply the same type of copy, the type of like feel of graphics, and then the actual audience that you're building for the other 2 cities, then apply it to Waco. Then you can take that and then you can take the same thing and help out another, you know, dental office in Austin. Now you're going to have some little things that you got to change up. Maybe the, like, you know, the content changes slightly, but what I'm trying to say with that is you can rinse and repeat it. So like if it took you like, you know, 3 weeks to onboard the one in Dallas first, then it should take you like 2.5 weeks to onboard the next one. Then it's two weeks for the next one. Then it should go down to a week and a half. And then at some point you're going to get to a point like, hey, you know how to onboard these people within like a week because, you know, like you've got it down. But you can never do that if you just spread yourself thin and you go after all these niches. So like that's why Valynt Digital picked a niche and we're sticking with it, and look at the success, because the success comes from us understanding the challenges that these people need to have solved. And we're using digital marketing to do that. Does that, you follow me on that?
Mm-hmm. Sticking with the agency, you know, experience and analogies, how do you pick the certain industries?
How do you pick the niche?
Like if they cross over, like.
Yeah, that's a good question. How do I want to go about this? Let me start here.
I think you have a real life example though, like from Valynt during COVID and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for that. That's a good trigger.
Okay, yeah, if that helps.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so like let's say, you know, as an agency, we picked a niche for capital raise. Once you do get this niche down, it's great because it allows you, once you niche down and you figure it out, it allows you to open yourself up to a different niche and start focusing on another one, right? And let's say the other niche that we want to go into is, let's say like esports. You know, esports. We want to go after esports and help them create brand awareness, sell tickets to their esports, you know, games and whatnot. It'll give you the time to be able to do that. But then also the kicker is like when you pick niches in a business, I personally think you should pick niches that does not cross over, right? And what I mean with that is this: like during the pandemic, I'll give you a good example. If you worked with restaurants, so let's say your core audience was restaurants, and then your second niche that you were working with were the companies that were delivering the food to these restaurants, then simultaneously you lost all clients because everybody that was in digital marketing and traditional marketing lost 80 to 90% of their clients who was in the restaurant business because everything shut down. You see what I'm saying? Because the food trucks that were delivering the food and like the energy drinks and all of that to those bars and restaurants, because the restaurants shut down, they no longer had a business either. Their revenue just shot down too, right? So because you were serving the two niches that cross over and they rely on each other, you lost two niches simultaneously. You see what I'm saying? So in order to prevent that, one of the best things to do is work with two niches that has no crossover. For example, like when I do capital raises, right? And look, it's a little kicker here, but like capital raises, everybody is looking to raise capital, but just stick with me here, okay? If we're in capital raises and we're only doing capital raise for, let's just say like real estate clients, then the next niche I'm going to pick and that we're going to work with is going to be, let's say churches. I mean, since we work with churches, but the audience really doesn't cross over from capital raise and churches. Do you see what I'm saying? So like if like, you know, capital raise were never to be a thing, it doesn't really affect the church clients that I have, because just because this industry goes away doesn't mean it's going to hurt this industry, like the church industry. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, another example that we have experience with is crypto, metaverse, NFTs. Like we had a really successful NFT campaign that was like an anomaly in itself, and how quickly we're able to like get it launched, the amount of people, the money, all that stuff. And then we were like, okay, we can do capital raise. The investor database kind of might help us here with like this idea for like crypto, NFTs, metaverses. And we started marketing those people, had good conversations, had a couple clients, and then everything in the crypto world, the blockchain changed. But we were still able to like keep moving forward with those clients for a minute until they decided we don't have the funding anymore. But our capital raise side just kept going.
That's correct.
So we dabbled, we had success, and then that industry kind of disappeared.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, like when you are picking niches and you decide to expand from one niche to the next, there are pros to pick niches that cross over though. Let me start here. There are pros for picking a niche that crosses over because it's easier for you to get the client because you're in one niche. So client niche A, you got it down packed, and then you're crossing over to niche B that kind of supports niche A. It should be an easy sell to be able to sell them because you got happy clients here in niche A, and it should be naturally like you'll get a lot of referrals. So you want to do that. But if you do that, then the third niche that you get into, you should make sure that it doesn't cross over with niche A and niche B. So like completely different audiences, completely not dependent on the other verticals when it comes to revenue and selling. You see what I'm saying? Like you should do that. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's interesting how, as we onboarded Frisco EDC this week, EDC standing for Economic Development Corporation. So they're responsible for all the new businesses coming into Frisco, which, by the way, while I was listening to them share their pitch deck, I was like, I want to move to Frisco. Like, it just sounded, it is so cool, like everything, how they're growing. And so I knew going into that onboarding meeting, I'd been in a lot of the sales calls, and I was like, okay, like obviously there's a right fit. Like we have a database of people who would be good fits for reasons like we can target for their job title, like their intent while they're online. But as you were talking to the team, it came up that they were looking to target some people who were in the middle of like their series B, right? And different things that had to do with capital raise. And I was like, hold on a second. Like I could see myself like in the camera, like, I have so many thoughts. I want to talk to you afterwards, because without realizing it, like there's so much more that our database can do for like this campaign? And I know you can speak on more of it, so
Yeah, for sure. It was surprising to me when we onboarded the Frisco EDC that they were looking to get in front of people that are in the midst of a Series B, because the reason it's great for us and it's great for them is that we have all the data of people that are in Series B, but we have that data because we use that data and run ads in front of people that are in Series B. So we're already running our our own Valynt ads to target those people, to run digital marketing to help them raise capital. But then what we found out is that the city of Frisco is looking to target people based on Series B, because if they're in a Series B, that means they could potentially be looking to move to a different city, which I wouldn't have never made the correlation unless they shared that with me.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah. And then no, go ahead.
No, the only thing I was gonna add was like, it was so exciting to like be back in the conversation of like, this is a whole new project that like you were excited about it. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you were so excited about it. Like a lot of our projects that we work on are very cool. Like something that I've never heard of before, like the fish cannon.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a whole nother conversation.
There's just so many different verticals that you work within, all under this capital raise area. And we're opened up the door to Frisco EDC being a part of the community, the Frisco Chamber. And it just blends in this way that's going to make this campaign like even better, and to see your excitement about it was like really fucking cool. Yeah,
the other thing I'll say is this, as we wrap up this volume, is that they also wanted to get in front of like venture capital and private equity firms. Again, those are audiences that we're already targeting, and we have the database of all those people, which is like weird for me, because like I never just thought like they would be looking to get in front of those people. So like all I'm saying with that is like, look, we're doing capital raise, but the audiences that we as Valynt are actively getting in front of, the city of Frisco wants to get in front of. So like it makes our life that much easier, but then too, it'll ensure the campaign's that much more successful, because we know how to talk to these people through digital marketing anyway. We've been doing it for like 2-3 years already. Yeah. We're actively getting leads every single day from venture capital and private equity firms and people that are in Series B.
And that, my friends, is exactly why you should work with an agency that is a niche down, because if the city of Frisco, the EDC, was maybe working with another marketing agency, or any place was working with a marketing agency that just does marketing but doesn't have a specific focus on what it is that they're looking to accomplish, the people that they're looking to reach, not in that niche, that vertical, like you might not have such an advanced start like they're gonna have.
Correct. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, they do have an advanced start. It just so happens that we're already running ads in front of those people. So I'm excited about that campaign, by the way, because I was exciting. I was leading that call, but
kick-ass job, by the way.
Just thanks.
Yeah, it was a very good example of a first onboarding meeting for our new team members. So
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, we're giving compliments each other today.
Yeah, we're nice. We're nice to each other now. All right. Well, that's all I have today. Anything else you want to add before I close it out?
No, I think I'm excited for the month of February. I mean, we're on the second day in, and Jagger's already got like 2 more deals he's trying to close out. I think he gets a call today from one of them. So we just had a client from Italy. We got some clients in healthcare. We do have some other clients in like different parts of the world again, so that Jagger's talking to. So we'll probably talk about that in the next couple volumes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, to all those Valyntpreneurs out there, if you have some topics that you want us to discuss, questions you have for us about digital marketing, running an agency, really anything, or maybe you want us to bring on a certain guest or talk about a specific industry or topic, just let us know at hello@valyntdigital.com.
Yeah. Until next volume.
Peace.